You know what's weird? I used to think broke people just weren't trying hard enough. Then I met Sarah. She worked 3 jobs, saved every penny, followed every financial guru's advice, still couldn't get ahead. Meanwhile, her lazy neighbor who barely showed up to work just bought his second rental property. That's when I realized something most people never figure out. The problem isn't your work ethic. It's not your education or your connections. It's what's coming out of your mouth every single day. See, your words are like radio signals broadcasting to the universe 24/7. And most people are accidentally broadcasting on the broken, struggling frequency without even knowing it. There's this one phrase, sounds totally normal, even responsible, that's basically like putting up a giant "no money allowed" sign around your life. I discovered this by accident when I was analyzing why some of my clients were getting incredible results while others stayed stuck. The ones who transformed their lives fast, they naturally avoided this phrase. The ones who stayed broke, they said it constantly. The crazy part? When I started paying attention, I realized I was saying it too, multiple times a day. No wonder my bank account looked like a crime scene. Here's what nobody tells you. Your subconscious doesn't care about your vision boards or your affirmations if you're contradicting them with your everyday language. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a massive hole in the bottom. But once you plug that hole, once you stop using these specific words, everything changes fast. If this sounds too simple to be true, good. The most powerful truths usually do. Make sure you're subscribed because what I'm about to share will probably make you want to go back and rewrite every conversation you've had this week. Let's start with why your brain treats every word like a direct command. Your subconscious mind works exactly like your smartphone's autocorrect function. Think about it. You start typing, "I'm going to," and your phone instantly suggests, "I'm going to be late," instead of, "I'm going to succeed." Why? Because it's learned your patterns. It knows what you usually say. Your subconscious does the same thing with money and opportunities. It autocorrects your reality based on the words you feed it most often. Last week, I was coaching Marcus, a truck driver from Ohio. Good guy, works 60-hour weeks, supports his mom and 2 kids. He kept asking me why his side business wasn't taking off despite working on it every spare moment he had. So I had him record himself for just 1 day. Count how many times he used what I call energy killers, words that literally program your mind for limitation. Want to guess the number? 47 times in 1 day. He was saying things like, "I can't catch a break while eating lunch. Money doesn't grow on trees," when his kid asked for new sneakers. "I'm just not lucky," when he saw someone else's success story online. Each time, his subconscious was taking notes. "Got it, boss. No breaks, no money, no luck. I'll make sure reality matches what you keep telling me." It's like having a personal assistant who takes everything you say literally and then makes it happen. But here's where it gets really interesting. There are specific phrases that act like viruses in this system. They don't just limit you, they actively repel abundance. Most people use these phrases because they think they're being realistic or humble. Really, they're just programming themselves for struggle. The phrase I'm about to reveal is the worst offender. When I tell you what it is, you're going to realize you probably said it this morning. Your subconscious mind is basically running on the same technology as your home Wi-Fi router. Stay with me here. This isn't some woo-woo metaphor. This is actually how your brain works. Your router takes whatever signal you're sending, Netflix, work emails, TikTok videos, and broadcasts it without judgment. It doesn't care if you're streaming educational content or mindless garbage. It just sends out whatever frequency you've programmed it with. Your subconscious works the exact same way. When you say, "I never have enough money," your subconscious doesn't argue. It doesn't think, "Well, actually, you made $3,200 last month." It just starts broadcasting that not enough frequency to every cell in your body, every decision you make, every opportunity you notice or ignore. Jennifer from Texas learned this the hard way. She's a nurse practitioner, makes decent money, but kept saying, "I live paycheck to paycheck," every time someone mentioned vacation or eating out. Then her car broke down. $1,800 repair bill. She had the money in savings, but instead of using it, she stressed for 2 weeks, borrowed from her sister, and then spent months feeling guilty about it. Why? Because her subconscious had been programmed to believe she lives paycheck to paycheck. So even when she had the money, her brain found ways to make that belief true. It's like having strong Wi-Fi but only connecting to the slowest network available. The really wild part? Scientists can actually measure this stuff now. Using brain imaging, they've discovered that certain word combinations trigger what's called neural pathway reinforcement. Basically, every time you say a limiting phrase, you're literally carving it deeper into your brain's operating system. But here's what most people don't realize. There's one phrase that creates the deepest groove of all. It's so common, so seemingly innocent, that it flies completely under everyone's radar. And chances are, you said it before your first cup of coffee this morning. All right, here it is. The phrase that's been sabotaging your manifestation power are, "You ready? I can't afford it." I know. You're thinking, but that's just being responsible. That's just being honest about my situation. Here's the problem. Your subconscious doesn't understand context. It doesn't know the difference between, "I can't afford a Ferrari right now," and "I can't afford groceries." When you say, "I can't afford it," whether it's about a $5 coffee or a $50,000 car, you're programming your identity around lack. Think about it like this. Every time you say those words, it's like updating your internal bio to read "person who can't afford things." And your subconscious? It's really good at its job. It will make sure your reality matches that identity. I learned this from David, a construction worker in Phoenix. He was making $65,000 a year but felt completely broke. His automatic response to everything was, "I can't afford it." His wife wanted to go out for dinner. "We can't afford it." His daughter needed school supplies. "I can't afford it." Someone mentioned a Netflix subscription. "Can't afford it." But here's the crazy part. When I looked at his finances, he could afford most of these things. He just had this mental block that made him feel poor regardless of what was actually in his account. The phrase had become his default operating system. Now, I'm not saying you should go blow money you don't have. That's not what this is about. This is about the energetic frequency you're broadcasting every time those words come out of your mouth. When you say, "I can't afford it," you're essentially telling the universe, "I am someone who lacks resources." And the universe listens. But there's something even more insidious happening here. This phrase doesn't just limit you. It actually trains your brain to look for evidence of why you can't afford things instead of looking for ways that you can. The alternative phrase I teach, my clients, changes everything. It sounds almost identical, but creates the complete opposite effect. Remember learning to drive. At first, you had to consciously think about everything. Check mirrors, signal, look both ways. Your brain was working overtime just to make a simple left turn. But after a few months, you could drive to work while thinking about your grocery list, planning your weekend, and singing along to the radio. Your brain had created automatic neural pathways. That's exactly what's happened with your money mindset. You've been practicing scarcity thinking for so long that it's now on autopilot. Every time you say, "I can't afford it," you're strengthening what neuroscientists call limitation pathways in your brain. Dr. Rick Hansen from UC Berkeley explains it like this. Neurons that fire together wire together. Basically, your brain builds superhighways for thoughts you think most often. So if you've been thinking, "I can't afford this" for years, your brain has built a 6-lane interstate straight to that conclusion. Meanwhile, thoughts like, "How can I afford this?" or "What if I could?" are still dirt roads that barely get any traffic. Maria from Detroit discovered this when she started paying attention to her automatic responses. She worked at Ford, decent job, but every financial decision felt overwhelming. Then she realized something weird. Even when she had the money for something, her first instinct was still, I can't afford it. Her brain was so used to that pathway, it had become the default route for any money-related decision. It's like having GPS that's programmed to always take the longest way home, even when there's a shortcut right in front of you. But here's what gets really interesting. When you keep using that phrase, your brain doesn't just think about money differently. It actually starts noticing different things in your environment. People who constantly say, I can't afford it, literally see fewer opportunities. Their brain filters out possibilities because it's been trained to look for reasons why things won't work. Meanwhile, people who've rewired their language start noticing money-making opportunities everywhere. Same world, different filter. The good news? Your brain is way more flexible than you think, and there are 4 other phrases that are almost as destructive, including one that sounds so positive, most people think they're helping themselves when they say it. Okay, so we covered the big one. But there are 4 other phrases that are almost as dangerous, and one of them is going to shock you because it sounds so positive. Phrase 2, money doesn't buy happiness. This one sounds noble, right? Spiritual even. But energetically, you're telling the universe that money is incompatible with happiness. So guess what your subconscious does? It makes sure you never have enough money to test that theory. I had a client, Rachel, a yoga instructor in Colorado. Beautiful soul, always talking about gratitude and simple living. But she was stressed about rent every month, couldn't afford health insurance, and kept saying, money doesn't buy happiness, whenever anyone mentioned financial goals. Here's the thing. Money might not buy happiness, but being broke definitely steals your peace. When you're worried about bills, it's hard to be present for the things that actually do make you happy. Phrase 3, I'm just not good with money. This one's like introducing yourself as, hi, I'm terrible at managing resources. Your subconscious takes this as a core identity and then proves you right by making you do things that confirm you're bad with money. Phrase 4, rich people are greedy. Every time you criticize wealthy people, you're creating an unconscious resistance to becoming one. It's like saying, I don't want to be the type of person I judge. Your subconscious will keep you broke to maintain your moral identity. Phrase 5, I'll be happy when. This one sounds motivational, but it's actually telling your brain that happiness is always in the future. So your subconscious keeps moving the goalpost to maintain that future happiness programming. Mike from Atlanta said this constantly. I'll be happy when I get a promotion, when I pay off my truck, when I save $10,000. He got all those things and still felt unsatisfied because his brain had been trained to put happiness just out of reach. Each of these phrases creates what I call energy interference, like having bad cell service that makes every call drop. But what's really wild is how these words actually change the electromagnetic field around your body. Scientists can now measure this stuff, and the results will blow your mind. This is where things get really interesting. You know how your phone shows different signal strengths depending on where you are? Sometimes you've got full bars. Sometimes you're in a dead zone where nothing loads. Your personal energy field works exactly the same way, and words are like interference that either boosts your signal or creates static. Dr. Masaru Emoto proved this with his water experiments. He exposed water to different words and then froze it. Water exposed to words like love and gratitude formed beautiful symmetrical crystals. Water exposed to words like hate and can't formed chaotic, broken patterns. Here's the thing. Your body is about 60% water. Every time you speak, you're literally restructuring the water molecules in your system. When you say, I can't afford it, you're programming every cell in your body with that limitation frequency. When you say money doesn't grow on trees, you're telling your cellular structure that abundance is impossible. But it goes deeper than that. Kirlian photography can actually capture the energy field around living things. Researchers have photographed people before and after using different types of language. People who consistently use limiting words show contracted, dim energy fields. People who use empowering language have bright, expansive fields. Think of it like this. You're walking around with an invisible bubble about 3 feet around you. That bubble is either broadcasting open for business or closed due to scarcity. Depending on what comes out of your mouth, the universe responds to frequency. When you're broadcasting limitation, you literally repel opportunities that are vibrating at abundance frequency. It's like trying to tune into a jazz station while your radio is stuck on talk radio. You can't receive what you're not aligned with. Tom from Seattle discovered this when he started working with me. Engineer, logical guy, didn't believe in any of this energy stuff. But he was curious enough to try an experiment. For 1 week, he recorded himself and counted limiting phrases. 73 times. The next week, he used replacement words I taught him. By Friday, he got a job offer he hadn't even applied for. Coincidence? Maybe. But the frequency shift was undeniable. The good news is, you can flip your signal from scarcity to abundance faster than you think. And it starts with simple word swaps that most people never consider. All right, here's where everything changes. Remember that toxic phrase, "I can't afford it"? Here's your replacement. How can I? That's it. 3 words. But the energy shift is like going from reverse gear straight into drive. Instead of, "I can't afford this vacation," you say, "How can I afford this vacation?" Instead of, "I can't afford to quit my job," you ask, "How can I create the income to leave my job?" You're not lying to yourself or pretending you have money you don't have. You're just shifting your brain from problem identification mode to solution finding mode. Lisa from Michigan tried this for just 2 weeks. She's a single mom, works at a bank, always stressed about money. Her automatic response to everything used to be, "I can't afford it." Then she started asking, "How can I?" Instead, her daughter wanted new school clothes. Instead of immediately saying no, Lisa asked herself, "How can I make this happen?" She remembered she had clothes in her closet with tags still on them. Returned them, got $180, bought her daughter a whole new wardrobe. 3 weeks later, she asked, "How can I afford a weekend getaway?" She found a house-sitting opportunity that gave her a free place to stay near the beach. First vacation she'd taken in 4 years. Same circumstances, different questions, completely different results. Here are the other power swaps. Instead of "money doesn't buy happiness," try "money gives me options to create happiness." Instead of "I'm not good with money," say "I'm learning to manage money better every day." Instead of "rich people are greedy," flip it to "wealthy people have resources to help others." Instead of "I'll be happy when," try "I choose to be grateful now while working toward my goals." Kevin from Texas made these swaps and said it felt like finally changing the locks after giving the wrong people keys to my house for years. But here's the real magic. There's a 60-second technique that not only prevents future damage, but can actually reverse years of scarcity programming. And you can do it right between brushing your teeth and getting dressed. Here's something most manifestation coaches will never tell you. You can actually undo years of scarcity programming. But it requires a specific technique that works like clearing your browser cache. You know how your computer starts running slow after a while? All those temporary files and old data clogging up the system? Your subconscious works the same way. This technique takes exactly 60 seconds and works like a daily antivirus scan for your mind. Here's how it works. Every morning, right after you brush your teeth, look at yourself in the mirror and do this 3-step reset. Step 1, 20 seconds. Take 3 deep breaths and say, "I release all limiting beliefs about money and abundance that no longer serve me." You're literally giving your brain permission to delete old programming. Step 2, 20 seconds. State your new identity. I am someone who attracts opportunities and manages money wisely. You're installing new software. Step 3, 20 seconds. Ask yourself one question. What abundance am I ready to notice today? This primes your brain to look for opportunities instead of obstacles. That's it. 60 seconds. Sarah from Oregon used this technique for 30 days. She said it was like finally getting new prescription glasses after years of trying to see clearly through the wrong lenses. Week 1, she noticed a $20 bill in her old coat pocket. Week 2, a former colleague called with a freelance opportunity. Week 3, she found out she was owed a $400 tax refund she'd forgotten about. Week 4, her landlord offered to sell her the house she'd been renting at below market price. Coincidences? Maybe. But when you shift your internal frequency, external circumstances seem to shift too. The beauty of this reset is that it works even if you accidentally slip back into old patterns during the day. It's like having a reset button that clears yesterday's negativity and starts fresh. Marcus, that truck driver I mentioned earlier, after 90 days of this practice, his side business took off. He's now making more from his weekend work than his full-time job. But remember, this only works if you actually do it. Knowledge without action is just entertainment. Look, I know this might sound too simple to be true, but sometimes the most powerful changes come from the smallest shifts. Your words have been shaping your reality for years. The question is, what reality do you want to create going forward? I want to hear from you right now. In the comments below, tell me 2 things. First, what city and state are you watching from? I love connecting with people from all over. Second, write this exact phrase. I am open to receiving abundance in unexpected ways. Don't think about it, just write it. Consider it your first step toward rewiring your money mindset. If this video opened your eyes to something you'd never considered before, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. This channel is all about giving you real, practical tools to transform your financial and spiritual life. And remember this, every word you speak is either building the life you want or reinforcing the life you're trying to escape. Choose your words like your future depends on it, because it does.